Good afternoon. Welcome to our YouTube channel. I don't use it too much. I mostly use Facebook Live, but I should really use my channel some too. It is a beautiful day in Nova Scotia. The sun is out, a nice fall day. And I guess tomorrow is the big day where Extinction Rebellion Nova Scotia is going to block. They're going to block the bridge. I think which bridge it's called. It's called the Metro. I think it's the McKay Bridge in Halifax. And anyway, I do feel their frustration. You know, they've been marching, they've been protesting, contacting government, talking to the media, and I felt that with Sunday shopping for quite a few years. But, you know, these guys got the media on their side, and we didn't. Corporations do rule, and it's pretty obvious. I'm frustrated with Extinction Rebellion. They're not talking about all these stores that have lights on all the time. Just go in them. There are good many evenings that, and during the weekend, you can go in and throw bowling ball, and there's nobody shopping. And these lights are burned from fossil fuels, but nobody wants to talk about it. Rick Howe let me talk about it on his open hour. I'll try to put some of this stuff in the description later on. And but he was on with Patrick of Extinction Rebellion the other day, and he wasn't asked. I've asked several times on their page. I've asked Richard Sorowski. I've asked different people. They don't even want to answer it. And I think it's worthy something to be done about it. I mean, if we're in a climate crisis, everything should be looked at, not just plastic bags, clear cutting. They want to shut down a pipeline, but yet they're too scared to talk about our addictions to shopping. People think stores should be open all the time. Snap of the finger, even if they're not going to go. And it's costing you and I money. For a business to be open like this, they're gonna have to cover their costs somewhere. So you and I are going to pay for it. We are paying for it. They've told us that they would close if they're not busy. Well, have a look around. It's an out-and-out scam and lie. But some people don't like me. Some people are against Sunday shopping, and they're not all sold on the climate thing. They go hand in hand. I thought this for years after the government allowed Sunday shopping illegally, and seeing how the business just spread out, and then you got lights on more often than what you did before. And look at all the street lights that we have on every night out there. Outside the store issue, they're on all night. If there were sensors on them, you know, that they could shut off, I don't know, every 10 minutes or so, when there's no motion, just think of the money that would save. I know Nova Scotia Power won't like it. Maybe there's a lot of people who have money in stocks at Nova Scotia Power in these corporations, but nobody on the fossil fuel side wants to touch this, or nobody fighting climate change. And really, it does raise red flags to me. Do I still think we have climate change? Yes. But I think if you're going to fight it and you're going to say, we got 12 years to act, you just don't. You don't ignore it. I mentioned it to Elizabeth May. Sent messages to her. Richard Sorowski. Tim Houston. He's been on live. I mentioned to Stephen McNeil. I mentioned to our government. Nobody wants to answer it. That's not a democracy. I deserve an answer regardless if it's just me. And I know there are people out there that do agree with me, and you need to start talking. Because if you think our climate is in trouble and you're saying nothing, that's not good. Clear, the government's taking action to ban plastic bags in January. Well, where's the action on these stores? We got to get our power from another province here, which is burning fossil fuels, and yet nobody thinks it's a problem. Nobody says anything. XR, Extinction Rebellion, of all things, should be talking about this, should be doing something about it. I think it's really sad. I think the end's coming because people are addicted and they don't want to give up. That's like taking a bone away from a dog. They're going to fight you for it, even if that bone isn't good for the dog. Shopping hasn't benefited anyone. Everything was a lie to begin with. And now we have the climate crisis on top of it. I even have some people attacking the word Sunday. We're going to, by what we're promoting, we're going to make people go to church. There's nothing on my site about making people go to church. It never was before. You don't see eye specialists and eye doctors and dentists and all this being forced to attend church, and they don't work. But it's the little people these ridiculous arguments are used against, that they are stuck. And a lot of people live in fear. But I'm not just talking the word Sunday. I'm talking maybe an evening. I'm talking about most stores closing at 9, maybe 10 at the latest on a busy night. We don't need these store hours. We're only aggravating the climate crisis. And guess what? I got nothing to lose. It's just an opinion in a democratic country. But Mother Nature will shut everything down. Look what happened with Hurricane Dorian. Some people without a week. And look at the money it costs stores. Nobody knows. They run 18-wheelers in and they take all their cold stuff off to put in so it don't go bad, and some stuff gets thrown out. These storms, hurricanes, are going to cost us millions and billions of dollars. To you taking one day off a week and cutting your hours back, being careful on plastic, getting rid of that. These are the things you think you're inconvenienced by what I'm telling you. Well, just wait till have Mother Nature inconvenience me, because we're all into this together. I know that guy, he's been harping for years about Sunday shopping. Well, guess what? If I was given the opportunity to go on CTV, Global, all the television stations to tell you how they did what they did to you, you would be pissed off. The way they played us off against people that work on Sundays. I'll give you an example. Doctors and nurses, for one. I know one lady come to me one day when I was at the field house, and she said, doctors and nurses got to work. I said, fair question. I said, do we make the same as doctors and nurses? And do we save lives like doctors and nurses? She didn't say nothing. And I said, well, how about us getting the same amount of money that they do? All the perks if we're the same. She walked off. But this is the kind of garbage and propaganda the mainstream media put out there to you to make you feel guilty that, oh, these guys, they should work as nurses and doctors are. But they didn't fill in the blanks about how much money they make, what lives they save, and they are a good contribution to your community, but it's not an emergency for you to buy a can of corn or get a loaf of bread. You can prepare. You had to prepare for Hurricane Doran. You had to prepare for Hurricane Juan. So, these are the things you got to think of. We are also compared to people that work in restaurants. Tim Hortons, Wendy's, and places like that. These places have always worked on Sundays, holidays. But what the government didn't tell you, or what suggestions they could do, is put in legislation, give it to them off too. They wanted them mad at us. So, there's no one backing us. Divide and conquer is called. And they were successful. That's not our fault. Anyone in retail that this has happened. But this is how this all come about. And the same with the holidays in other provinces. Just because it's an addiction, it shouldn't take away from your family. It shouldn't take away from anything. You need that mental break and physical break. And they talk about how important it is not to hurt yourself at work. Well, what about your mental being? People need time to be with their families. It's important. We don't know how long we're going to be here. And if the climate alarmists are right, less than 11 years. But like I say, for people to take them serious, they need to take everything, treat everything as an emergency, not just pick and choose. That's ridiculous. People are addicted to shopping, they don't want to touch it. Oh, he doesn't touch that. That's store hours. The government can't tell business what to do. That's a load of crap, people. You can tell them how much to pay your employees. You can tell them how much vacation pay to pay. You can tell them how much holiday they got to pay. What's the difference? And tell them when to close. No different. They have that propaganda put in your head because they want small business out of the picture. And a lot have gone. It's all the big players. But in the scheme of things, if you don't care about the little guy, you're not going to care about the planet. The people working aren't going to care about the planet. We should be all striking on Friday, not when they have the strikes. All businesses should close and say, hey, we're going to have no future if we don't save the planet. The businesses should be getting involved. They should wake up and say, you got to do them things. And I'll tell you, it's really disappointing, heartbreaking to see the world go this way. You can really feel alone, but you know what? I don't mind staying here all alone, coming out and saying, none of this is right. Don't mind at all. You don't have to be sheepy. You don't have to be sheep. You just get up and you give an opinion. This is Canada. And if you're scared to give an opinion in Canada, it's no good for us to be here. I'm on my own time and I think it's worth it. But I'm really disappointed in those fighting climate change, all our political parties. Look at them now. You have Trudeau and the Liberals, you have Scheer and the Tories, you have the NDP Party and the Green Party, the People's Party, all making you all these promises. But ask any of them if they'll put anything in writing to you. And I bet they won't. I can promise you a new car. I could run. I'll promise everyone a new car. But see, these kind of things just tick me off to no end, especially when they were going on about social media influencing election. Well, hello. Well, you got to start at leadership. If all these parties are going to tell you things that they're not going to keep, they're no better. They're no better than anybody on social media. We need a government that works for us and what they're going to do for us. Tell us what you're going to do for us, not attack someone because they painted themselves black 20 years ago. Come on. I don't care if someone black painted themselves white. This is going beyond ridiculous. And it's to take us off important things like climate change, our healthcare system. But I'm a firm believer we should have a day of rest. And some of these guys coming back on our site, oh, that's evil. Well, this site isn't religious. And they don't talk about all the people that's off. It's just they don't want retail. I don't see them campaigning for Saturday or any other day off. They just want these stores open day and night, which are burning fossil fuels. It's hurting people. It's hurting our planet. It's not just plastic, it's the lights. It's everything around you. Next time you're in a store and you don't see anyone walking around, look up the ceiling. Look at all the lights. Look at all the lights in the malls. They're burning fossil fuels for nothing. We're making Nova Scotia Power rich, people. We're making them rich. And they love it. Why wouldn't they want everything open day and night? But it's hurting you and I. Our prices of food, clothes, everything goes up because you people can't go in the day before. Well, guess what? You feel inconvenienced by my comments now. Wait till we start getting more storms. They're going to inconvenience you more on just a Sunday or an evening during the week or at 9. They're going to inconvenience you for a week or more. Depends how bad the damages are. Then will come food. We'll start missing our food and disappearing. So my message to people fighting climate change, the XR, that you're going to block that bridge tomorrow, you need to look at the full picture. I do understand their frustration. I fought this for years. I tried to get on TV to tell my side about it. At least they're getting on TV. Anything that has to do with stores, they won't touch it. And, they want the pipeline stopped. Well, if you can't tackle a little thing like store hours, you ain't going to tackle oil and gas. It's not going to happen. I think the best thing to do is hit the courtroom, as I said on Rec Howe. There are different court cases coming out throughout the country, and the only way big business and corporations will listen is if you take them to court. And that's the only way. It's the only way anything's going to happen. You got to take it to court. It hurts when they got to use money to fight it. They don't care that you're standing on the middle of the bridge blocking traffic. You're going to get arrested. You're ticking people off. You're getting attention, but the wrong way. I hope it does something for XR Rebellion. I am an XR member, but that don't mean I agree with everything they do. I agree with the protest. I agree with the protests the kids are doing. But if we are going to fight climate change, and this is a climate change issue, we don't leave anything out. It's just not I ask the questions and I don't get an answer. So what tells me if I don't get an answer, then I'm on to something. And I know I'm on to something really big. These stores shouldn't be open the hours that they're open. And people don't want to say nothing because you're addicted. Who got you addicted? The corporations. I remember them having polls on before the plebiscite saying how everybody wanted it. That was a load of horse manure because the majority did vote no on that. Because they had polls after polls after polls, and did anyone ever sit and scratch their head or their neck and wonder why they never asked if you would like government offices open? Why you would never like your regular doctor in his office, or your eyes doctor or your eye specialist? Never a poll for that, just retail. Who do you think was behind that? I'll give you a hint. Big business, paying the media over and over and over to get you people brainwashed to what they want. They want small business out, and they didn't care who they stepped on. And now today's coming to a head with our planet. Our planet's going to the dogs. You could be on any side. The fossil fuels or climate change, but it doesn't mean you agree with everything they do or they don't do. I do. With my own eyes, I don't need scientists to tell me that we have a problem. The storms are more fierce, they last longer. and the more heat, extreme, wells have been going dry that never went dry before. Animals have been drying. We had no garden this year because the deers cleaned it out. They even ate things in our garden they would never normally eat, like squash vines and cucumber vines. They never used to eat them. This year they did. Was I upset with the deer? Oh yeah, but you know what? They're God's creatures. They got to live too. We're destroying their lives. The animals. Us humans are destroying this planet, the whole thing. We don't even treat one another the way we could do. I think more people should be speaking out. I really do. I think XR Rebellion should start a GoFundMe page. I think they should raise some money to get a good lawyer and take our provincial government to court, or federal, or both. Whichever, maybe whatever the lawyer decides. But you Google it, there are cases popping up all up. And I don't think it's any big reason that anybody should go out and get arrested and get charged. And they did go about it nicely by warning people a week before and all of this, but it's still pissing people off. And that's the last thing I want to see, people pissed off. I want to see people jumping aboard, and it's the only way I think we can do it. And everybody's got an opinion, and a lot of people may disagree with me, and some may. I'm not a bad guy. I love people. But I think people should be treated right and not used as mental games and mind games the way the retail sector was played against. I wish I'd known what I know now back during the plebiscite and after. But as I said, it's not all about shopping on Sunday, and it's not to force someone to go to a church. Like some of the comments on my Save Our Sundays page, ridiculous. No one was ever forced to go to church before. No one ever held a gun to your head to make you go. You went because you wanted to go. You wanted to be with God, or whatever reason it was. And I know a lot of people that weren't religious that didn't go. They loved that day off. Because I'm sorry, if it isn't legislated, companies don't care. You always got one that would open, and then the rest, because the world's full of greed. Capitalism is about making sales. They don't care about family life. And you can down a church all you want, but they do treat morals, and they're not all bad. There are bad. You can't paint them all with the same brush. But 98%, not all of them, corporations, you can. They're out to make $1. They don't care about people being together with their families. They don't care if we have a day without traffic. It's not just about the shopping thing. It's about everything that went with it. People don't spend time with one another. I know this older couple go to the mall just for company. I mean, seriously, to the mall for company. No one visits one another anymore. How are we going to save this friggin' planet if we don't care about one another? And the insults that people throw at you, even suggesting close the store down. Well, guess what? Mother Nature's going to be shutting it down like she did before. What are you going to do? It's going to happen. And to all of you XR people, I really want to wish you luck tomorrow. I thought of coming myself. I thought, I just can't altogether jump in with this because I don't want to piss people off that way. I believe 100% maybe they should be all along the bridge protesting with their signs, and I think they should be doing Facebook Lives. I think they should be talking on talk shows. I think they should be talking to their MLAs, their MPs, the Prime Minister. But I'm just not in this with this blocking the bridge. I'm sorry, guys. I just don't want to see people pissed off. I hope you change your mind, but I don't think you're going to. I don't think you're going to. And I know you guys get, Save Our Sundays doesn't get any money. A lot of anything I put into it myself. So if anybody ever wants to donate or anything, send me a private message at cm241tony@hotmail.com. I'll advertise on Facebook, and I just don't have it to do. But if you could share this video, people need to have an open mind. You either agree with someone or you don't. But I can't go along with that. Blocking the bridge. It's just not right. It's not going to solve things. But a judge on our side will. And these are the things that I hope you all think about. But anyway, I'm on here 29 minutes. I hope I didn't bore anyone, but I'm not no Trudeau or any of these guys, or Trump. I don't want to be a Trump. But yeah, before I go, speaking of, he got me thinking of something. Bernie Sanders actually is the one that got me thinking of something on a note before I go. He was talking one day about corporate socialism. Isn't that what we're living now? I know when I spoke to Mark Fury up at the Western Inn, I think it's called Western Inn, up in Cookville, about closing Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve at 4 p.m. He looked at me, his response, it's a corporate world. So, the Liberals and the Tories have always downed the NDP for socialism, blah, blah, blah. Well, we're living it now, people. Corporate socialists. They control the media. They keep your wages down. They don't want to give you anything. We're living in corporate socialism right now. They're controlling everything. They control what you get. That's why you don't see people like me on TV. And the only reason you hear me on Rex is because it's an open hour. Anybody can call. And I appreciate him letting me on. But my point is, everything's run by them. I'm not in their club. You're not in their club. They only want you to know what they want you to know. And there must be some money involved in this climate change, or you wouldn't be seeing it on TV. Always two sides. But I do believe it is a climate issue because I see the difference in the weather. Big difference. Or I would doubt the whole thing at all. But my message finally again, if you're fighting climate change, don't you talk about everything. Or it's just a joke. We don't need jokes if we're in an emergency. Anyway, I hope you all have a great day. And maybe I'll do a YouTuber sometime soon again. All the best. Enjoy the weather out there. And don't forget, Halloween soon coming up. Have a great day. Bye-bye for now.